that random aside. We are in game number 2 here for the Olimoleague, and spawning in the bottom right side of Lacrest. He is down 1. It's GuMiho.
In the top left as the blue Terran, it's KeeN.
Very funny command center placement.
Yes. Kind of a funny build in general, I suppose, compared to what we normally see in TvT. TvT really is the matchup that hasn't changed so much from Heart of the Swarm. I mean, TVZ too. Terran basically hasn't changed that much from Heart of the Swarm, so... gas, one-based builds, gas-based builds, all very common in TvT, although some people will try and be a little greedy, like KeeN is doing right now. But seeing an entirely gasless expand is still odd. Something you'd see from Marine King, but
So I just want to throw something out here. I'm not going to pretend like I'm the world's best observer, guys, and it is kind of difficult doing what we do. Not an excuse, but that last game, when it ended, and people were giving me some flack for it, I'll admit, I should have seen the ending. I should have seen the right side of the map. But also, that's not a situation that should end a TvT, so I didn't think that we would have to look at it and focus on it so heavily. Again, my sincerest apologies, but that's also not a game-winning situation most of the time.
Yeah. So, okay, I realize that's not where the base is. And we'll actually find KeeN. GuMiho, of course, is down 1, and he is once again kind of put the responsibility on his shoulders to do damage because he has chosen the more aggressive build. Now, KeeN went for, a bit greedy. Really, a gasless, barracks expand is not seen so much anymore, but he is, he got 2 gases immediately afterwards and is trying to tech up now, getting a Liberator, in fact. Oh, no. Wait, getting a Starport, in fact. GuMiho's getting a Liberator. And KeeN's gonna have to try and hold with just base Marines, which, I mean, they can do their job, but it's just not a lot of Marines right now.
Yeah, they certainly can't do the job versus the Hellions right now as it stands. Coming down that ramp. They were already pre-spread. Maybe it's a little bit different. Thank you, by the way, to Gordeath for the 13-month resub. Congratulations on being just a little over a year. Cyclone coming out for KeeN. We talked about this in game number 1. We didn't see it in game number 1. We are seeing it here, where the importance of this unit is just, you cannot emphasize how big of a deal it is. It's like the Terran Mothership Core when it comes to TvT openers.
So KeeN tried to get the command center down, but, I mean, just as it happened, GuMiho was ready to attack. A little unfortunate, and yeah, he still really hasn't benefited so much from the command center. It's built extra SCVs, of course, but even then, they're not the same SCVs.
I love this haircut suggestion in the chat, by the way. Just Furiosa.
Yeah.
Go straight up Mad Max style on this.
How bold do you guys think I am?
No, bald? Bold?
Yeah, right.
Alright. Viking comes out. This will be easy peasy because there's only 1 Marine on the ground, so should be able to pick off this Liberator fairly easily. There's a funny dynamic that came as a result of some TvTs a little while ago featuring Bunny, where, according to the F12 menu, as stupid as it is, where's Terran units here? The Liberator is countered, or sorry, excuse me, Vikings are countered by Liberators. Where's this damn thing? Or no, it's the other way around, sorry, yeah. And we saw this go down very poorly because Bunny chose to listen to the F12 menu and lost pretty harshly to it when it came to that air war.
Yeah.
So don't always believe what you read, kids. I wonder actually real quick, does the Immortal still get countered by the Reaper on this thing?
Liberator is actually strong against the Viking.
Oh, they actually changed it. No longer the
Yeah, I was gonna say they might have just changed it. Cause yeah, it said the Liberator was strong against it.
Yeah.
And they say that the Reaper is no longer strong against the Immortal.
But we all know, since Wings of Liberty, Reaper was the counter to the Immortal zombie growth.
I know. What have they done? They've changed everything.
I do feel bad for anyone who starts playing this game anew. You're like, Bronze League. Okay, so I'm having trouble dealing with these units. How do I do it? Oh, Reapers. Okay.
Check the Reaper real quick. Make sure they haven't changed it.
I feel bad. This is like the most time we've spent in the F12 menu ever in 3 years.
Okay, yeah, they did change it.
Okay, yeah, they definitely changed it.
Okay, so I was gonna say, GuMiho with that little bit of an aggressive opener did make up for his later command center. Actually finds a bit of a lead. He's up in supply in both the SCVs as well as army. Scouts this drop and decides to go for it.
All that cannon fodder's gone, and that Banshee is probably gonna win the game, honestly. I mean, the auto turrets deal a lot of damage. That's cool. The Cyclone comes in, there's a tank, Marines, blah, 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 blah. But there's nothing that's really going to deal with this Banshee too effectively.
Oh, he's going to get the command center. He gets the command center, or the SCVs to the command center.
Either way, they're both
over.
great kills. Might get both.
The drop on their side of the map looks like it's doing some damage, but just not enough, and it is cleaned up by SCVs and tanks.
Alright, so I don't know if there's actually enough Marines to focus down. The Cyclone gets the lock onto the command center. That's going to do a ton of damage. Command center being an armored unit looks like it's going to go down to this rate. SCV's getting pulled once again. Banshee just kind of shooting and shelling away. That Cyclone still has range on that thing, gosh. But even then, just driving off the natural base, pretty much worth it. Other side of the map, that one drop of Marines is not cutting it.
One Marine is not going to be very scary of a drop.
No, not at all. Now GuMiho's got a bit of a soft contain going on. This was a great attack from GuMiho, and the timing hit just right. The medevac had already taken units out of the base. He was able to storm in on top of those tanks with such ease.
Oh, a Banshee's killing more SCVs in KeeN's base. Or something did.
Yeah, I think it was the Banshee.
Yeah. So, yeah, GuMiho's up 9 workers. He's up an army.
He has
and
a base.
He was consistently mining longer, too, I think, since he was dealing with the drop quite well. Although those SCVs aren't back to mining yet.
No, it's worth noting, by the way, this command center did live, so that's good for KeeN. But, man, he lost so much trying to keep that command center alive. Yeah. And the worst part of all this, look at Auditor's going to kill the medevac. Ah! The worst part of all of this is GuMiho actually has a pretty nice tank count now, too. In TvT, tanks are no longer like the auto win factors. You've got a lot of different ways to get around them. But, again, like, you're going to want to have more tanks, for sure.
Yeah. Now, KeeN does have a very distinct advantage in upgrades. He has Stim and is getting combat shields, where GuMiho, has not started. He's going to have an upgrade lead, like literal upgrades like 1-1, but that's it. And certainly Stim and combat shields are very important aspects of TvT. GuMiho, by not having Stim, in fact he just starts it right now, technically gives KeeN a lot of time to recuperate from those losses, such as getting a faster third, although GuMiho's third is already done, so I guess that's not possible for KeeN anymore. Or just by simply allowing KeeN the time to get a decent army with both those upgrades and actually pushing into him. In fact, that's probably KeeN's best bet, because he's not going to catch up on the economy now.
Funny enough, I would love if this game played out a little bit more, how do you say, like Marine tanky. I do like these two Banshees from GuMiho, though. I can see them getting a decent amount done. They don't have cloaks, so I'm not talking about getting to the mineral lines and slaughtering SCVs, but picking tanks off that are out of position, catching units that are rallied. These Banshees can do quite a bit. Although I do think he's thinking about SCV kills, and I am not too big of a fan of that.
KeeN not moving out could, lose him this timing that I was talking about. Stim is now about 75% done, like 65% done.
Could you mouse for just 1 sec?
For GuMiho, and once that's complete, as long with the 1-1, then KeeN will no longer have this timing to hits. This would actually be probably the perfect time. Stim isn't done, 1 isn't done, but his army supply is as close as it might ever be now that GuMiho is on his third mining, and should be looking for production soon as well. Banshees do come into the natural and get a couple of SCVs. But these really should not deter... Oh, actually, a couple Marines too. They should not deter KeeN from attacking. GuMiho is probably expecting an attack. The Banshees are cleaned up as he sees there is no third right here. Very, very small tank attack, actually, but that's not really what I was imagining. Harassment will only get KeeN so far in this game, and not far enough. Stim is done, 1-1 is done, he still has the combat shield upgrade, but he's the combat shield's done, and he will not have a bigger army supply if that's what he's banking on by not getting a third base. GuMiho is so close to being able to really utilize his third base. A bunch of SCVs are being transferred over to saturate it, and he will be placing down more production soon enough. Tank count also looks fine. He's in control of it as well, so it's not like he's going to be caught off guard with no tank drops. That is another way to, I guess, win TvT, is just to be the one that knows how to use tank drops compared to your opponent, which shouldn't happen in pro games. GuMiho very keen on the idea that drops could sway the balance of this game and is trying to tear it up.
Yeah, this is where it gets a little problematic, though. I hate to reference this particular player, but he's a big example of it. You got players like Avila who will go for like crazy missile turret rings, right? And when you watch games like that, and this happens again, at a smaller scale on pro situations, that's a lot of money invested into defensive buildings. If you're maxed out on 200, that's fine to do. But the fact that GuMiho would do, I don't know, say 6 turrets hypothetically, that could actually be a huge portion of a missing army. He's going to have that 2-2 lead as well. If he gets to there, that's going to be fantastic. But right now it is everyone fighting on almost even terms. Small lead still in the favor of GuMiho. But, oh, these tanks getting picked off would be huge if he could have sniped those.
KeeN trying to be very bold with the tanks, but one mistake and they're all dead, and he's nothing with Marines, which are not going to be helpful.
He actually might just pounce on top of them.
Oh,
God. It's not even just that you're losing the tanks, you're losing very important things like the medevacs. He's boxed in. GuMiho, can he catch these?
Yeah, he will. Oh, okay, no, he won't.
Even then, he's going to have a flank set up because of chasing the tanks around. So, Marine's going to win the initial fight here on the ramp, but it doesn't matter because all the tanks are gone for KeeN. He's got one firing in the backside. GuMiho collapses. GG. GuMiho going to tie up the series now, 1-1.
Ace match.